Go.
Hello, my name is Katie Manning, and welcome to Geeks Audio Heads, and have a lovely day, chucks. Hey!
Hey. Hello, this is Geeks Assembled, and we are here to talk about Baker's End and the Tatty Bogle. Anyway, this is another fabulous story about the King of Cats and his people in this little village where they're sort of stuck, and it's a great story. So let us open with our opening thoughts. Around here we've got four gentlemen who are here to help review this with me, and let's start with Jeffrey with Beef Dad. Please let us know your opening thoughts and your stuff. Thanks.
Well, it was absolutely hysterical. I loved every minute of it, and like all the Baker's Ends, it's just been incredibly funny, unbelievably well written, unbelievably inventive as far as the English language is concerned. But yeah, this time, you know, you've got the big summer festival at the end of summer, and it's nice how, you know, as part of their festival they take someone and burn them. That's an interesting way to celebrate. But then the wonderful thing is, of course, Tom Baker is the King of Cats, and oh dear, excuse me. And his sort of sidekick, Susie Goshawk, played by Katie Manning, go down to Hades to rescue his housekeeper, Mrs. Frimbley, who has been burnt. And they have to rescue her from the Queen of the Underworld, who is brilliantly played by Eve Webster. She's just superb as the Queen of Hell. She's just absolutely brilliant. Of course, you've got David Benson playing the Reverend Ailing, who really cannot handle anything in this village. I mean, I really keep wondering to myself, what the hell is this man doing there? He cannot handle anything in that village. But I mean, you've got the goblins, and of course the king of the goblins, as you would expect in this, is a cabbage. And I love the name Eric. The king of the goblins is called Eric. I mean, he's brilliant. You know, it's just totally mental. And you got the Kinching Morts of Midnight. Whoa. And there's a few Arse Nugget references and things like that, which crease me up. But of course they go to hell, and hell actually, when they finally see it, isn't basically fire and flames everywhere. It looks like Middlesbrough, which is a town in northern England, a sort of it was part of the sort of well, is it Black Country?
That's Sunderland, Tayside area.
Yeah, but it's an industrial. It was an industrial town. It was a town built up from industry. And yeah, so anybody from Middlesbrough watching this is just going to absolutely crease because it's hysterical. Yeah, it's magic. Mrs. Frimbley, brilliant in this. She has a bit more to do, and she has a homunculus, which she's dug up. It's a baby, but it looks like roots. She dug it up out of the garden, but this is probably one of the reasons why she got burnt, because I think she's a witch, but that's just the way my mind's working on this. But yeah, it's just absolutely brilliant, hysterically funny from beginning to end. And the idea of they've actually got basically the river Styx and the boatman that takes them over to hell. It's just brilliant. It's a total nick from the Greek. It's a total nick from the Greek stories, Greek and Roman stories, but the boatman is almost as funny as they are. It's absolutely mad. It's brilliantly funny from start to finish, and it's a wonderful story. I love the story. The story is really good.
Well, thank you. That was awesome. And let's go to our King of Cats, Lee, who's brushing cat hair off of himself at this moment.
Yes. How do you know?
Thank God he wasn't licking himself. Yeah.
Oh, I wish I could. This one, the third story into this saga, and for me, this one's a lot more darker, but the humour is still there and it's very strong. It had a sort of a Wicker Man feel to this one. And as I say, with the river Styx sort of, and the ferryman, brilliant acting that. Yeah, it's more dark. Mrs. Frimley with this strange little baby. Yeah, and Tom's on top form again. Katie Manning's, she's running alongside him at full speed in this. And it's left on a cliffhanger until the next time on this one, but I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm going to listen to the next one with bated breath. It's very good. The language is still as strong, but the way what Paul Mars writes is still strong. The Tom Baker, he's just mad as a bag of spiders still, but it is a lot darker than the first two in the series, and for me, I don't mind that. I quite like that. So yeah, it's a very, very good story. Over to you, Susan.
Thank you. And Graham, what's your opening thoughts on Tatty Bogle?
Tatty Bogle. Please stop referring it as to that, please, man. You're going to give me a complex. But no, yeah, for me, I like the stuff that I enjoyed, but this has already been covered with Lee and Jeff there. But no, the Wicker Man field, spot on. Harvest time, some poor wench gets burnt alive. That's a given. Edward Woodward would have been giving that a thumbs up, I believe, from beyond the grave. I want more darker, I want more gritty as well in a sense. But for me, this is the best the first three. This for me. Beef Dad mentioned the boatman on the river Styx. I loved it, how the interplay between them. It was more like a cab driver almost. Taking them from A to B. Oh, you two are nice. Most of my passengers just shit themselves. Just stuff like that. Is just hysterical. Tom Baker, not other than Fruit Loops as ever, as the King of Cats. And the scene in the underworld where they're on the torture rack, and he just keeps getting whipped. He's trying to cut a deal with the Queen of the Underworld, that I thought was just superb to behold, and Mrs. Frimley, the bride of Tatty Bogle, was somewhat of a nice twist. As Beast Dad alluded to, is she a witch? That's maybe something they can explore down the line, if that's the route Paul Mars decides to take these. And of course, you've got the ambiguous ending. Great balls of fire. So Where we go next, down in Baker's End, we'll see when we get on to story number 4. Top-notch story.
Thanks. How about you, Tim? What's your take and your opening thoughts on this?
Well, everybody's kind of already said everything. I agree with Graham. This is probably the best of the 3 so far, and that's saying a lot because they're all very good. I just mentioned that it also had raining blood. That's always cool.
There you go.
And I have to go to the window, so I'll be right
Speaking of raining blood, he'll be right back. Yeah.
All right. Well, I just love Mrs. Frimble in this. She went from Frimbly from being like sort of the stalwart, sane one in the group to being completely off in left field and digging up a baby in left field, a homunculus, a vegetable baby. Oh my gosh, it's just amazing. So, I'm just thinking of it in terms of like a potato with tentacles. I don't know. I've got like a whole bunch of thinking like anyway, and then it starts getting stormy and then it's raining blood and she gets burnt, and that's just rich. I mean, and then there's the fear that Tatty Bogle is coming and it just so cool. Anyway, Tim's back.
Yeah, when you
go ahead, Graham. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say that those kids that showed up at the front door at the beginning of the story to warn Mrs. Frimbley, they were creepy as hell, man.
Yeah.
Creepy kids.
Yeah, really. And there aren't any kids in this village.
Go figure.
So that's pretty weird too. Anyway, Tim, you're back. Tell us more.
Well, I mean, like you just said, they're doing all the little horror movie tricks. They're trying to remind you of all the horror films you've ever seen. So that's always fun to do, sort of pastiche or whatever. But I would say, the ending you're right, it ends on a kind of a cliffhanger. It's also a bit of a downer because he's very upset about his book tower being burned. Mm-hmm. And it's a pity they end it that way, but there you go. To be continued.
All right, your favorite bits. Go for it, Tim. While we still have you.
Again, it's like really hard to pick one because it's all so good, and it zips right along. It's very quick hour. I guess I mean I can't really pick a favorite because I just think it's all that. It's a lot of fun.
Cool, thanks, Graham. Your favorite bit?
Easy for me. That's poor Eric. I knew him well. A wee bit of Shakespeare thrown in amongst the horror. Why not? Befriending a cabbage. You can't beat it. Well done, Paul Mars.
All right, Lee, what's your favorite bit, please?
Well, Tom Baker finally got a companion, what was a cabbage, which he was always asking for in Doctor Who. A talking cabbage he asked for in Doctor Who, and he never got it. I think the closest we got to was Adric.
That's an insult to the cabbage.
Yeah, well, yeah. But, there's so many good things in it. Say the ferryman, that is just brilliantly played. Also the Reverend, when he's sort of possessed, he doesn't know what he's doing, and it's taking Miss Frimbley to be burned. That is a brilliant scene, and Mrs. Frimbley with the corn dolly child, whatever she is, that it's really, really well done. I mean, there is, as I say, there is a bit of narration by Katie in this, but it doesn't overtake the story, and that I'm glad of that, because I'm not a big fan of narration. But
it's barely there.
No, that's just basically interspersing between scenes, really,
Yeah, transition.
Yeah. It doesn't spoil it for me. That's what I'm saying. It's just a wonderful story from beginning to end. Again, the third one, which is another wonderful story.
All right, Beef Dad, what's your favorite bit, please?
Well, apart from the fact that the whole thing is wonderful, I two things particularly amused me. And yeah, that they spoke to the vicar, the Reverend Ailing, and saying, why are you going along with all this? I mean, they're going to burn Mrs. Frimley. And he said, well, at last, I'm beginning to feel that I am accepted and I am part of this community. Yeah, that's the way to become part of a community. Burn someone. Yeah, that had me in hysterics. And the other thing that really creased me was the Queen of Hell. Mm. And every time anybody was saying anything, she would whip
someone. Yeah.
And she kept whipping him. And she kept whipping Tom Baker. Every time he opened his mouth, the whip went crack. And eventually she turned around and she said, I'm awfully sorry, it's a bit of a habit. And I just fell about laughing at that point. I just fell about laughing. And that's why I say Eve Webster was brilliant as the Queen of Hell. Because although you think the Queen of Hell is going to be a really evil and unpleasant character, she wasn't actually. She was pretty funny. Yeah. And Susan Jameson, I think, in this episode, did a brilliant job. She was absolutely brilliant as Mrs. Frimley in this one. And, she couldn't believe that Tom and Katie had gone into hell to rescue her and to take her back. And she said, well, when we get back there, will I still be alive? Who knows? Yeah, it was just so clever, so funny, brilliantly drawn, brilliantly performed.
Right on. So yeah, I think my favorite part was I quite liked the torture rack scene. That was great. I quite liked the scene at the end where they're waiting for Tatty Bogle, like that person is actually going to come out. It's like it's so good. So good, so good, so good, so much good. And so let's finish up this one, and let's get to the next story. Oh my gosh, because it is a cliffhanger. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so let's reverse order yet again. And Jeffrey, what do you think for your final say and score, please? Oh, sir, you're muted again. Mm-hmm.
Well, that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Final say. What can you say? Welcome to Insanity. It is brilliant. If you like something totally, totally crazy, and you're a fan of of a lot of the old horror films, particularly The Wicker Man, this is one for you. You really got to go for this. It is just so brilliant, so funny, so clever, amazingly well written, brilliantly acted, and it's a gold-plated 10 out of 10. Right
on. And since I forgot the order, I'm just going to go to Graham next. Graham, could you do your final and score?
Well, what can I say? If you're down in trouble and you need a helping hand, pop this in. It'll brighten up your day, despite the darkness, despite the macabre. It's a gold standard 10 fudge nothings out of 10.
Awesome. And Tim, what's your final say and score, please?
I just want to clarify for everybody that we are talking about the 70s Wicker Man and not the atrocious remake.
Don't you dare mention that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree. It's a 10. It's an easy 10. Yeah, more please.
Cool. And how about you, Lee?
Final say, come on, Nick Briggs, hire Paul Mars to write some Big Finish Doctor Who, because I think that's what some of these stories need. A lot of humour. It would work. Get Paul Mars to write some Doctor Who for Big Finish.
He has written some before, though.
He has, yeah, but I want him to write more.
You know what? You can see McCoy shining in some of these, man, especially with some of these comedy bits.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I always enjoy a few, some comedy Doctor Who audios. I love them. But going back to this one, it's a 10. I just you cannot fault it. There's nothing you can say there's something wrong in this story. There isn't, and like the two before, it's up there. It's 100% brilliant. What can I say?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like Terry Pratchett level brilliance. I'm loving all of these stories, and I'll give it a 10 too. And I'd like to thank you guys for listening to this with me. Please let's all gather again in a fortnight, or thereabouts, I think, to do this thing again. Let me double check my schedule here. Oh, never mind. Let's do it in a fortnight, okay?
Clarify your dates, dearie. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll clarify later. But thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and do leave comments below. Leave comments, because we'll send them on to Katie. If I knew how to get a hold of Susan Jameson or Tom Baker, I'd send them on to them. But this is just, we'll try and funnel those things to them, and then and we'd love to have you join us if you're over 18, got a camera, got a microphone, would like to talk a little bit.
Got a brain. Yeah.
Got a brain. I'd like to talk about these incredibly cool things. Then please join us. Get a hold of Lee or me or Beef Dad or Graham or Tim or any of us. So please join us, and thank you for listening, and we'll see you later.
Fassbender.